Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hope all is well. I hope everyone enjoyed Hanukkah. We had a great Hanukkah here in Eretz Yisrael, in Yeshiva. Alumni are starting to come in for their winter break, which is always very, very nice. A lot of high school principals are coming in, a lot going on, as usual. Just to share with you before the Dvar Torah, share with you an interesting thing we just started about 2-3 weeks ago, which has kicked off really nicely. We started, yeshivas are very well known for we work on our learning, we work on our Avodas HaTefillah, Yiras Shamayim, and all of that. Sometimes Ben Adam Lechavero gets lost in the shuffle a little bit sometimes in yeshivas, and we decided to cure that problem. We started about 3-4 weeks ago a special Midos workshop program, Midos Vadim, where we're really working on Avodas HaMidos, and the guys have notebooks. There's a lot of real work going on. Last night, for example, Rav Glanz gave a shmooze on Avos Yisrael. The guys have projects over 2 weeks to really work on Avos Yisrael, both in the neighborhood, outside the neighborhood, internally, etc. They'll get, in the middle of the 2 weeks, they get together again and kind of report back on their progress and what they've been doing. And then every 2 weeks we move on to another midah. So it's a very, very nice new thing. And the Mitzvah Hashem will see growth in those areas, Ben Adam Chavero, as well. Okay, we are learning this week a little thought, an important thought, I believe, on Parshat Vayigash. And here we're told finally the brothers reunite. Yosef reveals himself, and we were told, "Od Yosef Chai," that Yosef is indeed alive. And Yosef tells the brothers in Perek Mem Hey, it's time to go back, bring our father, bring everyone, and you'll come. We'll reunite as a family here in Mitzrayim for a bit of a visit. Yosef invites everyone down, and indeed, a little bit later in the Perek, Yaakov hears that Yosef is indeed alive, and he's shocked. He's very, very surprised by the news. They tell him he didn't believe them. He doesn't believe them. Ki lo ha'amin lohem. And finally they explain, yes, indeed, he is alive. And he sees the agalot that were sent with Yosef. Vatechi ruach Yaakov avim. And like Yaakov has a new life, a new chiyus to him as a result of this information that Yosef is indeed alive. And we're told, Vayisa Yisrael, Perek Memvav Pasuk Aleph, Vayisa Yisrael v'chol asher lo. He gets up, he travels, it's Yisrael, let's keep an eye on that. The name that is used is Yisrael. He gets up with tremendous energy, and they start traveling. Vayavo be'erashava, head south towards Mitzrayim, stops in Beersheva, Vayizbach Zvachim, Elokei Aviv Yitzchak. And he brings karbanos of thanksgiving, no doubt, to Elokei Aviv Yitzchak. That's already interesting. He brings karbanos Elokei Aviv Yitzchak. What happened to Avram in the picture? That's interesting. That is something of note. And then right away you see a very, very interesting shift. Vayomer Elokim li Yisrael. Hashem calls out to Yisrael b'maros halayla. In a nighttime vision, Vayomer, and Hashem calls out, Yaakov, Yaakov. He calls out Yaakov. And once again, Yaakov, Vayomer, and Yaakov responds, Hineni. And Hashem introduces, says, Al tira, you have nothing to fear, do not be fearful, merda Mitzrayim, by going down to Mitzrayim, ki lagoy gadol asimcha sham. So there's something interesting shift over here. Who says Yaakov was afraid of anything? But now he has this maros halayla in the middle of the night, and Hashem appears to him and says, Yaakov, don't worry, fear not, you have nothing to worry about. Where do we see Yaakov is worried? What exactly is going on in these psukim? And why the shift from, we're told, first he's called Yisrael, and then when Hashem appears to him, Yaakov, Yaakov, a double call out, Yaakov, Yaakov, what exactly is the message over here? So Rashi, the Radak, they say that the reason that Yaakov brought Zvachim, Karbanos Elokei Aviv Yitzchak, is because right now, Beersheva, the southern part of Eretz Yisrael, about to go into Chutz La'aretz. And now remembers, maybe I shouldn't be going to Chutz La'aretz. Yes, it's a reunion, family reunion. We're going to get together for a couple of months, together, reunite a little bit, and then right back. So perhaps he shouldn't be going down to Mitzrayim. After all, Yitzchak did not leave Eretz Yisrael, so maybe he shouldn't either. So he brings karbanos. That's how Rashi Radak understands. The Ramban says something much more profound. Something happened right now. There was a shift. Yaakov, as we say in Hebrew, nafal lo et ha'asimon. Something clicked. He had that moment. There's something very, very foreboding that is about to take place. I'm about to leave Eretz Yisrael. I'm about to go to Mitzrayim. This is not going to be a trip for a month or two. Perhaps this is going to be the period of a very deep and profound, very difficult and arduous galus. This is going to be the kiyum of the bris ben abasarim that Avraham Avinu was told that your people, your children, your zera are going to be avadim for many, many years. Be'eretz lo lahem, and there's going to be inui, there's going to be affliction, there's going to be pain, there's going to be sorrow for a very, very long time. But don't worry, Avram is told, ki lager gadol asimcha sham, you're going to be a great nation, nonetheless. And perhaps right now Yaakov understands that there's something cosmic going on here. This is not just a family reunion. We're going to go down to Mitzrayim, give Yosef a hug, meet the grandkids, and then right back. This is going to be the period of a very challenging time in Knesset Yisrael. And Yaakov, as he's in Beersheba, about to leave Eretz Yisrael, he comes to that cognition. He realizes, and he gets frightened. And that's where Hashem appears to him. B'maros halayla, in the darkness of night. Not a coincidence. Yaakov has his visions in the darkness of night because Yaakov is bringing the family now down to Golus, into a place of darkness, an area where you do not see very clearly. There's lack of clarity. Yaakov has Maros Halayla, and now Hashem refers to him no longer as the exalted Yisrael, but now it's Yaakov, Yaakov. Not that name Yisrael, Kisarit, im Elokim ve'im Anashim Betucha, that you overcame people, you overcame gods, you overcame Esavs. No longer. Now it's Yaakov, 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 that lower level name, because we're going into a place where the Jewish people do not necessarily belong. They do not necessarily have control. They're subjugated, they're avodim, they're that lower name, Yaakov, Yaakov. And an amazing shift. It's a beautiful diuk, but the Torah tells us, in the beginning of the paragraph before, Yaakov has this realization, Vayisa Yisrael. He goes with energy, Vayisa, he carries other people. And his name is, of course, Yisrael. Once he has this realization, what exactly is happening, we're told, Vayakom Yaakov mi Beersheva, Yaakov gets up from Beersheva, Vayisu b'nei Yisrael es Yaakov avihem. And the b'nei Yisrael, his children, literally carry him. Yaakov's paralyzed. He can't move. And they're the ones who bring him down. It's a tremendous shift, and really this is the mark where the family of Yaakov is now brought to Mitzrayim, where they're going to be staying. Yaakov is not going to come out of Mitzrayim alive, nor are all of the Shvatim are going to end up, as the process of Sheba, they're going to die in Mitzrayim in 210 years of very profound and real galus. And I think there's a very, very broad lesson over here, which is very striking and I think very important. See, the Torah can always be read on two levels, and I think this Parsha really highlights these two levels. On the one hand, and perhaps even to the regular, if you will, the Avos, Yosef, the brothers, on one level, there's a narrative. There's a narrative of brotherly strife, of brotherly reunion, of families coming together, a very dramatic tale of how Yosef rises to power, and again, a fascinating story of Yosef and his brothers. And it's the stories of an individual family and what happens and what transpires to that family. But then, if you will, and you don't find Hashem's name here at all. Hashem is really not found. The Psukim do not mention Hashem explicitly. But then you have what I would call the cosmic layer of this story. This is not about just a family. This is part of a very broad divine plan. It's part of Hashem's mission for Klal Yisrael that was already started with the bris ben Abisar and Parshas Lech Lecha by Avraham Avinu. And it's part of this process, this plan to get the family of Yaakov to Mitzrayim, and then in Mitzrayim through the process of Galus, and through that, what we call the Kur HaBarzel. So Klal Yisrael will be formed. And it's part of this bigger cosmic mission. And on some level, the Torah really works on two planes. We have these local stories of Yaakov, of Yosef, the brothers, etc. And then there is the drama of what's really working behind the scenes, of the whole process of Yosef being sent to Mitzrayim as part of this much bigger, much more dramatic, much more significant divine mission. And on some level, we go through life and we have our little daily concerns about life, about parnasa, about children, about spouses, about finding spouses, all of these daily things, school, what we go through on a daily basis. And that's our local, what I'll call our local pekala, our local things, our local story. But we're all part of a more cosmic story, a bigger mission, a mission that involves, it's so much bigger than every single individual. That's part of a very broad divine plan. And there are darker times, and there are lighter times, happier times, sadder times, which we don't fully understand until you have perspective of distance, of history. And then you kind of develop a vision. When Yosef, Yaakov, the brothers, they're in this story, it's hard to have that perspective vision. Finally, Yaakov, I think, chaps, and he says, ooh, this is something that's much more dramatic, much more significant. Others would not perceive that, and once we have, in hindsight, the bigger picture, then we can go ahead and really understand get. And I think that's an idea and a lesson that applies to all of us in our daily lives. We don't see it, but we're part of this cosmic, what Rav Soloveitchik would call this metaphysical entity called Knesset Yisrael, which has missions that go well beyond our unique individual stories, which are very, very important, but are much more dramatic, much more significant, much more global. And in this vein, I'd like to share a beautiful, beautiful Meshech Chachma. Meshech Chachma points out an insight into Yaakov Avinu, because we are told, once again, Vayomer Elokim li Yisrael b'maros halayla. Yaakov has his visions at nighttime. Vayomer Yaakov, Yaakov, don't fear. And you find, says the Meshech Chachma, that Yaakov is the one who has these nighttime visions. He's the one who dreams about Malachim, Olim, V'Yordim. You don't find that by Avram. You don't find that by Yitzhak. There's something about Yaakov and nighttime. And it's not a coincidence that Yaakov is the one who's metaken Tfilas Arvis. He's the one who's metaken the Tfilah of nighttime. And it's no coincidence that Arvis is connected in the Beis HaMikdash, the Evarim and Pedarim. What happened to the Evarim and Pedarim? The fats, the sinews, the carbon was brought, and then these parts of the animal were left on the Mizbeach during the daytime to be burning all night long. And in a certain sense, that's a metaphor, says the Meshech Chachma, that Yaakov Avinu is a bridge between Eretz Yisrael and Chutz La'aretz, between daytime and nighttime. Tfilas Arvis is really can be said, doesn't have to be said in the dead of night. It can be said during that time of what we'll call Poshkia, Plaga Mincha, where there is twilight. That's the Evarim and Pedarim. They're put on the Mizbeach during the day, but they burn all night. What Yaakov does is Yaakov takes the Kedusha of Eretz Yisrael, of daytime, of clarity, and brings that into Chutz La'aretz. He brings that into the darkness of Chutz La'aretz. That's why he has these nighttime visions, and that is what the Meshech Chachma says. When a person is living with Shechina, then no matter where he goes, that Shechina will be with him, even b'maros halayla. That was Yaakov Avinu. He was living with Shechina, and then that Shechina will carry with him, and that's the pasuk that we say in Tehillim, Perek Chav, Ya'ancha Hashem b'yom tzara. Hashem was with us and answers us even during our tzaros, even during those tough times. Yisagevcha Shem Elokei Yaakov. Why Elokei Yaakov? The Elokei Yaakov is the Elokim, is Hashem, even during time of tzaros, even during times of darkness. That's when Yaakov has his vision. That's why Yaakov is metaken Tfilas Arvis, the bridge between Eretz Yisrael and Chutz La'aretz, between the Shechina and the darkness. But even in the darkness, there can be a tremendous amount of Shechina. There can be those Maros Halayla. And that's what we find in this week's Parsha, this transition of moving the family from Eretz Yisrael to Galus. But nevertheless, there's a plan, there's a vision. We have this duality, we have our own little story, and then we're part of something so much greater. And again, no doubt worth mentioning the Rashi in this week's Parsha, where Yaakov, he sends Yehuda down early. He says, go ahead, set things up for us. And Rashi comments, what does he set up for them? He sets up, shot number one, he sets up a place to live, a dira, just homes. Shot number two, he sets up a base vad, a base hora, a base medrash. Yaakov understands, you're in Galus, we're in Chutz La'aretz, we need to make sure we have all of the kelim, everything we need, that despite the darkness, despite the challenge, we can go ahead and bring from Eretz Yisrael, bring from clarity. And when I say Eretz Yisrael, I don't mean Eretz Yisrael proper. I mean the idea of connection, of light, of Shechina, and even during those times of darkness, to bring with us to be fully prepared. That's why Yaakov says to Yehuda, build that base medrash, build that base hora, because in Galus we still need to be connected, to be attached, to be linked in. And that, of course, is what Yaakov does for us. He's the one who gives us tefillas arvis, even when it's dark. The ability to connect, the ability to be tapped in, the ability to connect to that Shekhinah, to have those Maros Halayla. So I wish us all a tremendous, tremendous sense of bracha and hatzlacha. We're in the dead of winter. It's cold. It's very cold. The nights are very long. The days are very short. This is a period, we started the month of Teves, and the Hasidic Sfarim say, Teves is milashon hatavas haneros. What is hatavas haneros? You go ahead, the Kohen's job is to clean out the shmutz. Clean out the shmutz from last night's lighting so that we can have a new lighting today. And that's what the winter months are all about. Long nights. Some people have, I think there's something called winter depression. The long nights, the snow, the rains, it gets us down. But you know what? That's when there's so much going on under the surface. The earth is regenerating itself. The animals are hibernating, saving up, and then in a few short months, that lila, that time of darkness, that time of those long nights, that cold weather, we're all hunkering down. Then we have the springtime that emerges therefrom because of the winter. The earth regenerates, and then the flowers start to blossom once again. The weather gets warm, and we have that sense of vibrancy, that sense of life, which is only generated because of that sense of winter. So Mirz Hashem, we should take the koach of Laila and the opportunities of Laila, and with those opportunities of Laila, Mirz Hashem, have the or gadol that will bring us to Yemos HaMashiach. B'meir B'yameinu.